Yes, I've got a statement. All members of the City Council, ladies and gentlemen of the Commerce City community, the staff, and the citizens, as you're aware, there's on tonight's agenda, there's first a repeal of a resolution that the City Council illegally passed, which stripped me of my legitimate right to participate on boards and commissions both in and out of the city. That resolution tonight, 2009-27, has passed. Therefore, those illegal resolutions are repealed. Also on tonight's agenda is another ordinance that could turn right around and redo that ordinance, but still would prohibit me from being on any board or commission. Only this time it will be done in public, and I will have a chance at due process, I hope, and it will be done allegedly legally, although that still may remain a question. I would now like to give my statement in public so that everyone on both the council and all others present could understand my position. Admittedly, not everyone on the council likes me. That's probably an understatement. I'm a lawyer by trade and have been a part of the political world of the state of Colorado for many years. I've got strong opinions, and in the past have tried to facilitate a number of actions that I truly thought would be good for the city, some of which have helped the city of Commerce City, like facilitating the change of the elections in Commerce City from April through November, which saves us about $60,000 every 2 years. All of these actions, including the right of due process and the right for every citizen to be able to vote on. I've tried to be transparent in all that I've done by letting this council know of everything that I'm doing while I'm doing it. Doing some of the things that I've done has greatly angered some of the city council and others. People in the January 26th meeting even brought up the fact that I was a proponent of the name change over 2 years ago, that I was a proponent of the emissions tax last year. They'll use that to try to remove me from these commissions. I assure you it was not my intent to anger anybody. I just wanted to help the city move forward during the time frame of my elected office, and I did these things in accordance with the Constitution and the right of free speech. During this past year, an electrical company named Tri-State has been trying to erect enormous power lines along our E-470 corridor, which would go right through certain developers' lands, thus limiting the developer and the city of Commerce City from appropriately building good commercial development along that vast corridor. As the alternate member to the E-470 board, Mayor Natal is the member. I was asked by Mayor Natal on several occasions to take his place and represent him on the E-470 board and represent Commerce City. As a course of normal board business on the E-470 board, the case of Tri-State was reviewed on a number of occasions during executive sessions. I advised the mayor of the content of these executive sessions. After listening to all the discussions, I went to Mayor Natal to discuss the possibility of discussions with Tri-State that I generally thought would help our situation with them. I asked to have a closed session with the city council and staff to discuss the possibilities of my proposal. Actually, it wasn't a proposal, it was just an idea. As well as I asked E-470 for a tentative later closed session date to discuss how our city council decided to proceed. I contacted Mayor Natal and he approved of these discussions. At least that was my perception. And please let me reiterate that these were only discussions on ideas that I had. I fully briefed staff on my ideas, and they were to present my ideas to the city council. At no time did I think that I would be moving ahead until I had the council's blessing, and at no time did I ever negotiate anything on behalf of this city. That's up to the city manager and the city staff. To be accused of actually negotiating something on behalf of this city. At the city council closed session on January 5th of 2009, I was surprised to discover that Mayor Natal denied my discussions with him, and that the city council was angry that I had brought the idea to them and that they thought I had moved ahead without their consultations. I in no way intended to exclude the city council or members of the city staff. However, as you know, for me to contact all members of the council to discuss these matters with them would have been illegal under the open meetings laws. My intention for the tentative E-470 closed session was to brief them on the final outcome of the decisions that our city council made regarding the tri-state map. I did, of course, hope that my idea as an alternative would be found satisfactory. At all times, in any meetings at E470, I emphatically and consistently stated that the position of Commerce City was to have the power lines buried. My idea as an alternative failed to gain support, however, and because the council did not make any changes in its position on the tri-state issue, the tentative E470 meeting never took place. There apparently was a communication problem. At least that apparently was the perception. I regret that. I meant no malice and have learned greatly from this experience. I thought going to the mayor first was the appropriate action, as others on the council have done, and the same both on the council now and my observations of the past councils. Further, it's now my understanding that the mayor denies our discussions. From this point on, I will be keenly aware that all issues must be brought forward to the entire council for consensus on how an issue is brought forward. I've learned a huge lesson, but I thought, based on past experience, that setting up an executive session was the proper way to do this. When the city council took action against me in closed session meetings, which were illegal, I knew these meetings to be illegal and in violation of the Colorado Sunshine Law. I told them so. Even though the council as a whole said some pretty embarrassing and nasty things to me, I wanted these discussions to be held in the open because it was illegal and because I want our city to be as transparent as possible in our deliberations and discussions. Those meetings continue to be held in closed session settings despite my objections. I really felt that I was not being afforded due process. For a council person to be stripped forever of any possibility of being on any board or commission is a very, very serious matter. For the city, it means that all the people that I represent would never have any representatives on those boards, and personally, it's devastating to my reputation as well as professional life. For the record, I did retain an attorney to represent me in this matter to resolve the issues of the illegal meetings held on January 26, 2009. I did prevail on those issues, which is why the resolution banning me has to be repealed tonight, which it was. Also, for the record, because I had to retain an attorney to represent me, I requested that the city pay my attorney's fees, which come to about $4,038, which the city paid today. I have not requested any money for myself. These are all attorney's fees. In defense of my hiring an attorney to represent me against the city, my reputation has been greatly compromised and seriously damaged. And I needed to be able to at least tell my story, and for the record, I was correct. These meetings were illegal. We as a city must abide by the laws that make us as transparent as possible to everyone, and that includes the Colorado Sunshine Law regarding open meetings. My request tonight is that this council not pass the resolution stripping me of my right to be on any board or commission. I don't think that this has been done ever in the state of Colorado. No matter what any other council members throughout the state and our city have done, this has never happened. I admit that there was apparently a serious communication problem. It won't happen again. But it would not be in our city's best interest to exclude me from being on boards and commissions in the future. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I would move to remove Resolution 0928 from our agenda tonight for the reasons that I just stated and for the reasons that I've not been afforded due process to respond to this resolution. I haven't been given enough time to gather witnesses or affidavits on my behalf. I think that those affidavits would show that I never negotiated anything with anybody. I never did anything improper. And I haven't had enough time to gather that evidence. So it needs to be either continued or completely removed from this agenda.
Mr. Lewis?